my nephew, he's like a big fan of our podcast. He's like,
Okay.
any chance he'll get, he'll slid in like, oh, my uncle like has a podcast, da da da. Slipping
Yeah.
into his friends, his cousins. He tells my uncle, uh, they were listening to the radio, and he's just like, oh, let's listen to a podcast. So my cousin, he ends up putting on a podcast. He's like,
Okay.
let's put on the LWG podcast.
Let's go.
And so my nephew's like 10 or some shit, really young actually. And
Yeah.
so
Should
the
not be
episode
listening.
the episode he ends up putting on is the
Anal
alien
program.
space probe one.
Yeah.
And so we just start going in on buttholes and alien like protrusions and all types of craziness, and my cousin's just like, maybe not this episode. Had me dying. I was laughing when you told me that. I was like, that it would work out that way. Just feel like the
Yeah.
raunchiest episode of Space Rock.
Welcome to another episode of the LWG podcast, where we talk about space rocks. Now, that was our logo, which we have so much fun with every time because we're children, essentially. But this is the Los Wise Guys podcast. I am your host for today, Papa Sun Killer Dan, accompanied by the Lord Emperor Disco, who's back from Dubai. How you doing, sir?
Man, it's been a journey. I felt like I literally came from another world. If it takes this long to get to Dubai, I don't even want to know how long it's gonna take to get to Mars.
It's a lot longer. It's a lot longer in Dubai. But yeah. I mean, as you guys can see, it's just myself and Disco, the double D's here. Eslam's not here because he's lost. We don't know where he is. He was last seen in Dubai, and then he wasn't. So who knows?
Don't lie to them. It's because this man spent all his money on the wedding. He can't afford internet now, so we gotta wait till next month.
Oh man. But no, Eslam will be back, and we will get plenty of Dubai stories from him and from you, since you guys are both there and all your adventures in Dubai. So I can't wait to watch and listen. And if you guys can't wait to watch and listen, make sure that you go ahead and you like and subscribe to our stuff over on our YouTube channel on Los Wise Guys. Just search it up on YouTube, or you can check us out at twitch.tv/Los Wise Guys, or you can check us out on our social medias, which is right there below. And of course, if you ever want to see our stuff, it's very simple. Just go to loswiseguys.com, where you can watch all our videos, all our podcasts, our blogs, and you can even see what's going on in the LWGFEGL S3, where, surprise, surprise, I'm in the lead. But we always have that out there. So feel free to check that out and let us know what's going on. Comment with us, interact with us, and we will interact with you. But once again, welcome back, Disco. It's good to have you back.
Oh, yeah, it's good to be back. Like I said, it felt like an eternity away. I'm like, damn, I do a podcast. That's today.
Yeah, right.
It's
How many
good
days
to be
have you
back
been
though.
back? How many days have you been back?
Oh man, I got back the 31st, so like 7. And my sleep schedule's still messed up from that Dubai trip. I don't know. I've never had to deal with this much like jet
Jet lag?
lag. Because like usually I fly to New Jersey and it's like 3 hours ahead, and then I come back and then it goes 3 hours. But in Dubai, from California, it was a full 12 hours. So
Mm,
I literally my day was flipped. Like when I was up, it's like nighttime here, and vice
that's
versa.
crazy.
So it's crazy. I didn't realize how sensitive my sleep schedule was until coming back.
Well, I mean that, and then literally the time was just like, nah, like it's changing. Like that's why I said if I go to Japan, I ain't coming back.
Don't do that. Get somebody
Oh,
else
man.
to sign papers, sell all your stuff, liquidate your property.
Imagine if I just sent someone back and they just pretend to be me.
It's the Asian version of you.
Just Japanese Dan, just like, what's up, guys?
Nissan.
It'd be like that episode of The Office, where Asian Jim,
Oh man. that
essentially.
that'd be sick. That'd be sick.
That'd be
Asian Dan.
amazing. Oh
It's like,
man, but
yeah, I've always
that's
been this way.
yeah, always look at the pictures. I don't even have pictures myself, but that's enough about that. We are here for a whole nother reason. We're here to review a movie. It came out a little while ago. It's out on the Netflix. A little movie by the name of Glass Onion. I think we've both seen it
And
twice now, right?
a Knives Out mystery.
A Knives Out mystery. Thank you. So we've
Yeah,
both
yeah,
seen it twice now, right?
yeah. I didn't get to finish that second one. I got like the
Oh.
30 minutes left, so
Ah, you know how it
yeah,
is.
life, yeah.
Yeah, you got the gist of it. Yeah, so so my mom's still here visiting, and she wanted to watch a movie, so I showed her Knives Out, and we watched Knives Out. So I saw that again, and then she liked it. I was like, all right, well, there is a part two. So then it was like the next day, I think it was, or 2 days after, whatever. We watched Glass Onion. And so after watching the two of them real quick, and I guess we're gonna do the whole usual. We're not gonna spoil anything. We're gonna just go in there, just be above board,
Yeah,
and then we'll let you know when we get to spoilers. But
initial impressions, and then we'll announce spoilers when we get to
yeah.
it.
So yeah, Knives Out is definitely better than Glass Onion in my opinion. Like watching them both back to back, I enjoyed that both of them very much the first time I watched them, but watching them one right after the other, I was just like, Glass Onion doesn't hold up compared to Knives Out. It's not bad. It's good. I enjoy it. I like all the actors. Both movies have amazing actors in it, and just overall the story. I feel like it was just more tightly knit with Knives Out than it was with Glass Onion.
It always is hard to follow up, man. It's especially when you have a killer, like a winner like that, killer winner. Uh,
Yeah,
um, it definitely you get jitters sometimes, or maybe you try it too hard, or maybe you start overthinking. But like you said, they're definitely both amazing movies. I enjoy
mm,
both, and I don't even really like watching movies second times. I'm a one and done type person. Although I know a lot of people like to watch movies over and over because you get
that's
different
me.
stuff. But I actually enjoyed the second time around. It was a clean movie. It was
Yeah.
I noticed some more things about like now that I knew the ending.
I was
After
about to
watching
say
it
this
again,
is
I
the
was
type of
like,
movie
oh,
that you do watch again because of that. This is
yeah.
the
So
go back and
so it was
watch.
definitely good to rewatch, and I saw some things like I was like, he's acting funny, like just some
Yeah,
certain moments that like they kind of do give you little clues to pick up on, and I didn't pick up all of them on the first
yeah,
run through. So it was pretty good, and I haven't seen the first one in a while, but I do remember it being really good. Like
yeah.
the twists and turns and the just the whole everything.
There's something
Uh,
about so I'm blanking on his actual name right now, but Benoit Blanc.
Daniel
Um,
Craig.
Thank you, Daniel Craig, aka James Bond.
Yeah.
So I feel like one of the reasons why I love the character of Benoit Blanc, and especially in the sequel, we got to see more of Blanc. We got to see more of him. The only thing is, I feel like that's almost like a detriment. Like he's a great character, but I don't feel like he's a great main character. And he kind of, at least for the first half of the Glass Onion, he was the main character. And then there's a twist in the middle, which is uncommon. And then we have a new main character essentially. But I feel like one of the reasons why Knives Out worked better was you had Marta's character, the character of Marta in the first one. She is the main character. Benoit Blanc is a very important supporting character in the movie, and I feel like he's great in that supporting role, not necessarily as the main character. So I mean, that is maybe just a me opinion. I've said this many times with like comic book characters, for example. It's like I love Deadpool. I always hated Deadpool comic books because Deadpool is a great side character as opposed to a main character. Same thing with Ghost Rider. Same thing with the Hulk. I was like, they're great characters, but it's always just like, I don't like reading your book, but I want to read Spider-Man. And it's like at the end, I see next episode Ghost Rider's coming. It's like, okay, yeah, let me see Ghost Rider, and then go away. Like, don't stick around. you know?
That's how I always felt about Captain America. I'm like, we can have him around, but I don't want to like read your shit. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like, but I actually have a differing opinion. I actually kind of like the Benoit Blanc, and I think is the Southern drawl accent for me. It
Oh,
just
it's a great character. Yeah,
he did such a good job, and I always kind of like that like detective, um, just the master detective type thing, and he figures shit out like very cunning. It reminds me of I'm watching this anime called Bungo Stray Dogs, and they have this character like almost very similar, and he's like the detective type, and he puts on these glasses that like activates his power, and he turns into like Sherlock Holmes, and it kind of is like almost reminds me of that. He's just
Mm.
so cunning and putting stuff together that you wouldn't see, a normal
Yeah,
person wouldn't see, and I like how he sucks at the simplest things. Like, I guess this is a slight spoiler,
yeah,
but
but it
in the
plays into the
beginning,
overall story though.
yeah, in the beginning where he was playing Among Us, like in this bathtub, I was like, that's like the perfect game for him, and he sucked at it. I was like,
Yeah.
it's all
Also,
like
the people he's
detailed, like
playing with. It's I don't know why the people he's playing with. He's playing with like Angela Lansbury from like Murder She Wrote. Another guy I can't remember his name right now is a detective. You have the lady from Russian Doll.
Natasha from
Yeah,
Russian Doll, Poker Face.
and
Yeah.
then you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like former center for the Lakers back in the '70s. Like,
For
like
real,
why are
that
these
was a
people playing?
crazy group there. He's like, they're like, damn, Benoit, I thought you'd be good at this game.
Yeah. Well, that and then later on, I get very light spoilers where he's speaking to one of the characters and they're like, "Oh, look, this notebook is like a clue board." He's like, "Oh, I always hated clues." He's like, "I thought you'd be great at it." I was like, "It doesn't make any sense. You're going around, you're searching rooms, and where's the detective work? That doesn't make any sense."
Yeah, he did say that
Yeah,
to the sister, I think Cassandra, I think her name is, or some shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll get into
Um,
that, but yeah, but that's the
what
thing
was
where
your
it's just like,
favorite? What was your favorite part of the movie? If you don't mind me asking, just since we're kind of entering spoiler zone, I guess. Do you want to
um,
enter spoiler zone, or do you still want to kind of?
we're almost there. We're almost there. I figure let's just say our favorite parts without spoiling it if possible, and then we get into it.
Gotcha.
So it's a tie between the. I very much like the beginning, where it's just like they're all trying to figure out how to do the box, and then essentially Batista's mom just is smarter than everyone else and can do it all.
Right? He's like, Mom. He's like, chill out, and she's like getting all the stuff right.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's that, and then okay, the other one I can't say without spoiling, but I'll say it once we get into spoilers. It's the end.
oh
It's the
yeah.
big reveal at the end of the movie.
Mm. I Okay, I'm gonna put up the spoiler because I'm
Let's
gonna
do it.
my
All right.
favorite scene.
All right, so this
He
is your guys' chance. We're getting into spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, I guess skip a little bit further ahead. Hopefully, you won't catch spoilers, or come back after you've seen the movie and enjoy our content. Be sure to check us out. Once again, go to this place right here. Go to Los West, guys.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Check out that awesome website, LWG
I was supposed to
Los
have this up down here the whole time. Completely forgot. There it is.
Oh yeah.
So we're good. Let's get in the
You're good. You're
spoilers.
good.
Okay, there you
If it
go.
was
When that gets
Aslam, he would
taken
have had
off,
the whole wrong review.
yeah. Hang on, you want to be Eslam real quick? I got you. Yeah, if you guys are not watching the YouTube version of this or watching on Twitch, please do. You get to see all our visual gags.
Yeah.
But basically,
Uh,
there you go. So when that that little banner gets taken off, spoilers are done. We're done talking about Glass Onion.
awesome. So my favorite scene is I, when they're in the glass onion and they're about to like do the big murder reveal, and
Mm,
then Blanc is just like in 2 seconds, well, it was
yeah,
this and that, and then there's a blood diamond. And he's like going back and forth, and he like ruins this guy's whole weekend.
the entire thing.
And he's like having the time of his life, and Braun's just like, you fucked everything up. Like, you know how
Yeah,
hard that was? Like, how much money I
yeah.
spent to
Like
orchestrate the whole thing? And he's just like,
I paid a writer for this. Like,
she's expensive. Yeah, he was all.
yeah, that was a
I
good
just found
scene.
that so funny. I was like, Benoit Blanc, you cunning dog, you. She,
Yeah.
but
My other favorite scene, since we're in spoiler territory now, is the end when so when Benoit Blanc, this is after like we already know who Andy is, how it's actually Helen, and she's looking for the napkin and all that. And while Benoit Blanc has them all in like the I don't even know what room that is with all the glass, and then
the onion,
he starts, huh?
isn't that the glass onion,
No,
or
that
like the upstairs room in the onion?
well, I mean the whole thing's the glass onion, but it's like I figure his room. I mean, it's the one where it's the end of the movie where they start breaking all the glass.
Gotcha.
But right there where he's kind of like doing the whole like, oh, so it was simple, it was right in front of me this whole time, and that's where I'm saying it comes back to the whole he's not good at simple things, where he was just like, I come in here and it's the world's smartest man, and I'm expecting this, that, and the other. And it's like I'm hired on for this case, and it's going to be the greatest mystery I've ever had to solve. And I realize you're an idiot. You're making up words. You're using words in the wrong context. You're just a moron. Like, and he just starts going into it, just insulting Miles over and over again. It's like you're just dumb. You're dumb.
Yeah, yeah. Totally just ripped into him. And that's a goes back to me watching it the second time because you get to see more of Edward Norton, Braun, be an idiot, but
Yeah,
everybody's like, oh, he's a billionaire though, so he's like,
yeah,
all right, let's worship the ground he walks on. Because
exactly.
even in the beginning, like one of the first scenes, the scientist is like, he's an idiot. He's using a fax machine, and they're like showing different faxes he had,
Yeah,
and it's like, and
yeah.
just
No,
little clues like that, like,
well, there was a few times where he was saying words, and I remember thinking, I was like, "That sounds weird," but I guess whatever. Like, and I just didn't think nothing of it. I just keep watching the movie. So
yeah,
when they come back to it, I was like, "Okay, thank you." Like, and then the
yeah,
second time I watch it, he's saying it again, and every time he says something wrong, I'm actually laughing the second
yeah.
time because I was like, "Okay, I know where it's going to now." But that
Yeah.
and
Going in though into the movie with all the cast, I thought I really thought it was gonna be someone else. In the first half, I really couldn't like pin it down. At least my first time watching, I was just like, "There's so many people. It could be any of them." Like Batista, well, until he died. Spoilers. Until the they had the lady from Step Brothers. They had Kate Hudson,
who's the lead from? Oh, are you talking about
the
the governor?
politician lady, the governor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Agatha Harkness from in Marvel.
yeah, yeah.
I forgot her name. Catherine Hahn. Catherine? It's something
From
Hahn is her
Wanda.
real name.
Wanda,
Yeah,
yeah. So they had a bunch of different characters, and I was like, I don't know who it could be, and then until the end, where it makes it really clear. But also, upon watching the second time, I noticed like you see when the sister comes in, the twin, the big whatever, you
yeah.
see there's a big pause. Edward Norton's like, oh shit, she's
His
here.
face.
And they zoomed into his face too,
It's
like
like, how are
it's not
you
supposed to
here?
be like.
Yeah,
So I felt like that was a dead giveaway that I like didn't pick up on the first time. I guess I just thought it was like for dramatic purposes, just like
yeah. Well, that's the
there's
thing.
a
But
little tension.
everyone
There's a
had that
little
reaction when she
tension
first showed up.
because
Yeah,
they had business squabbles and whatnot, but it was actually like him knowing that
yeah,
she was supposed to be dead and like
yeah. That's the thing because everybody has a weird reaction when the first time you're watching it. And you see here is like, yeah, it's dramatic, but at the same time, you're just like, okay, he's just surprised too. And
yeah,
then like you're saying, the second watching, it's just like, oh, okay, that you really see it when he's doing it now. It's like, oh, okay.
yeah.
But it's
So
that. But I honestly like one of the biggest differences between this and the first one is this one's a lot more comedic, and the first one's pretty funny too. But this one between you have that one guy whose name I can't remember. I'm just gonna call him Gus, who's just like walking around on the island. He's like, "Oh, I'm not
oh
here,
yeah,
Gus." Like,
I think he was named Mike or some shit. I don't know.
I don't know. So that's
Yeah.
the same actor who played one of the police officers in the first movie. I don't know if he's the same character, but he was like the other cop who was just like a state trooper who
Oh
was just like, "Oh, I love reading this guy's books and all that." So it's like it's the same guy. It might have been Doug. I don't know, but it was that and just the characters in general, the funniness of it. Like you have Jared Leto's hard kombucha. You
oh
have
yeah, I wrote
Jeremy
that down.
Renner's like hot sauce.
Yeah.
You have Joseph Gordon-Levitt doing the hourly gong. I mean dong. Like it's just so dumb.
Yeah. That the Jared Leto kombucha was so funny to me. Cassie was like, or Cassandra, whatever her name is, was like, she doesn't drink, and next thing you know, she's like hammered on this like Jared Leto kombucha shit.
Yeah,
I just thought that was so funny because it's like
it's
I've I've
it's Andy.
literally never had kombucha, so no, but
I saw
Andy, oh yeah, it is Andy because
Andy is the
Cassandra's
dead
the
sister's
dead
name, but the
one.
original
Okay,
no,
okay.
Andy is the dead sister. Helen is the real name. I don't know where you're getting Cassandra from, but yeah,
I don't know. I heard Cassandra Brand somewhere.
yeah. No,
I
it's definitely Andy, unless it's
okay.
Cassandra, but it's like Andy is short for Cassandra, where they're just taking the Andy from
Oh,
Cassandra. Yeah, that might be it.
it could be Andra
I think that's
Andy.
what it is.
Okay. No, yeah, because they said her full name, And
Yeah, so it's probably
okay,
it
that's
probably is
probably it.
Dishonored, but
Okay,
it's just like Andy is the nickname.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway,
that makes
um,
okay.
I don't think we're gonna go into like the full like plot of the movie, right?
I don't think so either.
Yeah, there's no
I
need
mean,
to.
unless you want to give like a quick gist, because I feel like it came down to like two parts really. Just like him and the
Honestly,
island, and then after you get that twist, and then you get the background with Andy,
exactly.
Cassandra, or
Yeah,
whatever the heck you want to call her.
but no, you're 100% right. It's the first half is like it's the Benoit Blanc movie, then it's the Andy movie, like right
Yeah,
afterwards. So yeah, no, that's pretty much it. But it's like honestly, in terms of like the whole mystery, whatever, I feel like it wasn't that great. Because like as they're going through it, it's just like okay, so we don't know what's going on for the first half. You're just like somebody killed Batista, and first off, I was like, I think it was Edward Norton because when he sits down and they do the thing with the drink, I remember the first time I watched it, I saw two glasses next to each other, and because I'm watching a sequel to Knives Out, I'm paying attention to every single detail. So when I see two glasses that look similar next to each other, I was like, okay. So I see that. I was like, okay, the mystery is who killed Batista, and it's Edward Norton. And then they do the twist. So it was just like, oh, okay, there's a different twist here. And it's just like, okay, who's out to get Andy? And just like, once again, they're like, well, it could be this person, it could be this person, it could be this person. I was like, no, it's still Edward Norton because it's like he's the one who has the most to lose. And that's the
yeah.
thing where it's like they kind of like tried to tell you it's just like it might be one of them to protect Edward Norton. And I just kept thinking I was like, or it's just Edward Norton protecting himself. Like, why does it have
at
to
a
be one
certain
of them?
at a certain point, I mean, there was some it after a second watch. Like I said, I didn't get all the way to the end, but like you could. What drew me away from him was that like after Batista died, I don't remember his name. Um,
Duke.
Duke after Duke died, you see kind of like Edward kind of like find out who did this. I'll pay you $1 billion, and he starts hiding behind Benoit Blanc and stuff.
Yeah,
And so that kind of threw me off from him in some of the parts where I was just like maybe maybe he doesn't know, maybe he's still like in between. Uh,
right.
but I didn't know until the end for this one. So I mean, it is what it is. But
Oh yeah, yeah,
I uh, I enjoyed it though. I like how they had the Mona Lisa there. Kind of gave it this like over the top aspect, just like oh shoot. And then at the end, the way they used his own bullshit against him, how like he's pushing this whole hydrogen fuel, and at the end that was his downfall. I like the like symbolic aspects of that, and especially like they banged up all his crystals and all his
oh yeah,
stuff to they pretty much destroyed the glass onion just to get all that hydrogen gas leaked out so that they could blow the onion up. And also in the movie he had like people coming the following week, so eventually they're going to find all that mayhem
yeah,
and the destruction, and then also they'll find the Mona Lisa. So it's a
exactly,
like a two birds in one stone, because he always said he wanted to be mentioned in the same breath as the Mona Lisa,
exactly.
eternal or forever, or whatever they kept saying. Like,
Yeah,
what does that mean?
immortality.
Yeah, immortality. And so, in a way, he fulfilled his
Oh
prophecy,
yeah,
and I like how they tied that in. And I feel like you don't really see that too much in movies, like actually like starting something, little planting little seeds in the beginning, and then at the end, it's like it comes full circle, and like you really see it all full fledged. I really
yeah,
like how they did that with the Edward Norton character, and his like he reaped what he sowed. He kind of had
oh yeah,
everybody in his bag, and at the end of the day, just got greedy, and
oh yeah,
it got him in the hiney at the end. So
yeah. And
really,
and that's the thing. It's like I feel like everyone there, with the exception of Benoit Blanc and Helen, were just bad people. Like they're all like using either Edward Norton, or you have like Whiskey who's using Duke who's using Edward Norton, or it's like they're all like using each other. And even the random dude Doug or Mike or whatever his name is, he's using Edward Norton just to chill on the island. Like everybody's just a jerk. Like they're all just bad
yeah,
people.
they're just
So it's
using
like
each other to advance like
yeah,
in their
and that's the
career.
thing, and that's like they're quote unquote a group of friends, but it's that, and then it's just kind of like I feel like all the actors did a great job of portraying that, where it's just like they just come off as jerks. And at the end of the day, let's be real, Edward Norton is based off of Elon Musk, like the character.
I
So
could
it's
see
just
that.
It's like that's all it is. It's like this is like essentially what it is. It's like he's this genius, but then he'll turn around, he'll make a lot of really dumb decisions. So it's just like, is he that smart? Like,
Oh my
so
god.
so it's
That's definitely a good comparison.
yeah,
Musk, oh my god, you can't knock him because he's done some crazy stuff, but
yeah,
some of his tweets and some of the shit he says and does,
yeah,
I'm just like,
exactly. Like he does some
boy,
stuff. It's like you're not that smart. Like
he's just a regular person like us.
yeah,
But
but
no, yeah, so
no, but I think it's
especially
good
like
and
the actors and actresses, they definitely like embodied these stereotypes that they were
yeah,
supposed to. Like we had like the model, Birdie and that model, and I love how she's just like,
every
I'm
single
just
thing she said is
honest.
racist.
I'm just honest. Everybody's thinking like, and it's not true at all. And I'm sure there are people like that everywhere. Just like,
Yeah,
I'm just straightforward. I'm blunt. I'm like this. No, you're just an asshole. Like,
yeah.
you're like
I could
no,
I
no,
I could tell you
no
about some of the calls I've
courtesy.
had at work.
I bet. Yeah. So, and then the I forgot her name. You just said it. The Step Brothers chick. She I should definitely look up the cast. um, she definitely had like that politician mom feel, and Duke was definitely like kind of like Mr. Beast ninja type, internet
Well, just
influencer
in a jerk
personality.
way. Yeah, like
Yeah,
like in a like male chauvinistic way, where it's just like,
yeah,
uh, who apparently sold rhino
yeah.
donor pills.
There was no rhino in them. Swear, like I was like, oh, okay. So you were selling boner pills though.
Once again, prove my
Even
point.
in
The
the
best
first
actor turned
scene,
wrestler. I mean, best wrestler turned actor is Batista by far. Still,
even even the first scene, he's like the breast. He's just trying to bring breast awareness, and then he brings in the
yep,
girls like, "I love my boobs," and it's like the whole message is just like,
yep.
"Oh God, you're
That
missing
and then
everything." Like
that and they immediately turned to his mom, who's just like yelling at him and slapping. He was like, "I'm sorry, mom." Like,
he starts talking back, and every time she's like, "What? What?" I thought she was gonna pimp smack him again. Like,
yeah, man. But I feel
oh
like the
man,
characters are good, and that's the thing with a Knives Out. It was more of I don't know how much you remember, but it was like it was like a rich, sophisticated family. And it's just like you look at it and like, oh, they're all successful. It's like the father who wrote these mystery books, he passed away, but his son is the head of his publishing company. His oldest daughter is like this very successful, self-made woman. They have his daughter-in-law started like this whole like social media franchise. It's like they have all these things, and then once you delve into the movie, you realize like nobody like is a good like they were all once again using him for their thing and he was cutting them all out of the will and then it's like that's the cool thing where it's like you see all these people like on paper and then you actually delve deeper into the movie and you realize like oh yeah they're just bad just bad people like with the exception of like
yeah,
one or two.
yeah.
No.
I no, yeah. One thing I guess that I didn't really like. It's not even like a big thing, but it was the scene uh right before Duke died with the drinks. I didn't like how they showed us like misinformation. Like they showed Braun putting the drink down, and then like as it progressed, they changed it. It was like, oh, he gave him the drink. So it bothered me because it's like they changed the information, the data that we had. I guess from like a detective's perspective, I'm like, you gotta intake all this data. So it's like they showed us the wrong thing, and and then they backtracked and was like, this is what actually happened. And like, I don't know. For me, it kind of like,
They did but it was like at first you see the real thing and, like if you're paying attention you see what really happened where he hands in the glass. And then later on, they show the fake thing, and then but like immediately after, they show the real thing again. So it's not like
hmm,
there's a lot of time in between. It's like they kind of like this is what it is, and then Benoit Blanc's like think about it again, think closer. Like oh no, wait, he did hand him the thing. It's
I
like I
see,
feel
I
like
see.
it wasn't like too far. Like I get what you're saying, but like they did a similar thing in the first movie where I don't know how much you remember about the first one, but when they want the main character Marta to go back into the house where basically she has to like turn off the road before the security camera could see her and then as she's telling the story she's telling it in his voice and then he's saying turn before the elephant and then she's like wait did he say before and then you hear him say turn after the elephant and it's like wait is it before or after and he's like turn before after the elephant and then he's just like it keeps on
I
they change it because it's like
see.
it's the
Can't
way it's
remember.
working. It's working off of memory. It's like you can't really remember for sure. So
I
that like
see.
that's why it was like that.
I see. So I guess that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I see where
It
you're coming from though.
adds like a little tension, and it makes you question Edward Norton a little more, I guess. And
Yeah.
I guess it's not that bad. I don't know. It's the one thing
Yeah.
that I just want to bring up, but
Yeah.
I guess it's common. Um, Other than that, I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know what else is there to mention. Is there
I
anything you
mean,
want to talk?
we nailed it for the most part. Like I said, I don't really want to go over the plot. Didn't feel like that was too necessary, but I feel like we kind of nailed it. I mean, it's a fun movie because like you have like your straightforward mystery movies like the Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, stuff like that, which is it's similar. You go in there, you're trying to figure out what's happening. You might have a few funny, things here and there, but this is more like a fun take on it. Where this is like, you're still going out there, you're trying to figure out what's going on, but you're gonna laugh. You're gonna have Batista in a speedo with a gun for no
Yeah.
reason. It's like you're gonna have random funny things occurring.
All right. I just got two more things, just quick ones I want to mention, written down. And one was uh, the scene with Kate Hudson when she's like talking with
Assistant.
her assistant, and they go over the emails, and the dude's like talking about sweatshops, and she's like, "That's perfect." And
Yeah.
then the assistant's like, "You didn't think a sweatshop is where they make sweatpants, or like." And that
Her
that
character
one,
is
I don't
so
know.
dumb.
I wasn't ready for that. I was like, "Oh my god, she's so
Yeah.
stupid." And I love
Yeah.
how she's just like, "Perfect." Like, yeah, yeah.
No, that's
And
awesome. It's like be
it's
like that.
that like little play on words had me dying, and I just really like that. And secondly, this is more to us because of our kayfabe with the buttress. But
Mm,
there's a
Buttress,
scene where
yep.
Benoit Blanc was talking to Helen, and
Yep.
they're like, this was pre island, and so
Yeah.
they were
This is
just
when
going
she was
back and
hiring
forth.
him.
He was like, buttress your feelings, and he was like, buttress. And he just kept
Yeah.
saying buttress. It
Yeah.
just made me think of Eslam at the kayfabe. He's like, try to buttress those feelings.
And then
And
she was like, I'm trying to buttress.
I'm like, I just had to bring that up,
Yeah.
especially with that southern draw accent. I was like, buttress. I'm not gonna think about that word anymore. Like
Oh man.
than that. Like you guys and his like deep southern draw accent,
Yeah, man.
buttress. Every time I'm gonna complain or whine, I'm just gonna be like, buttress those feelings, boy.
God.
um,
Oh man. But no, man, it was good. One more shout out I forgot. Hugh Grant is just in the movie. So is Ethan
what?
Hawke. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ethan Hawke was in it for like. I remember Ethan Hawke. I remember Hugh Grant. Um,
He's the guy who answered the door for Benoit Blanc. He's like Benoit Blanc's partner that he lives with.
oh yeah, that was like 0.2 seconds though.
Yeah, I was like, they're
So,
literally just in the movie for like 5 seconds, just like, okay.
I wonder if they wrote him up or it's like a cameo, or like if they're actually listed like in the cast.
Yeah, I didn't
But
even bother checking. I should have checked that. But yeah,
yeah,
that, and I'm very curious to see if that is Joseph Gordon-Levitt saying "dong." Like it probably is. Like who says
yeah,
"dong" every hour?
it probably is. To be honest, just got him recorded, or just like they
Like, can you say
somebody probably
"dong"?
knew him. And no, yeah, I thought Ethan Hawke was gonna be more of a character too when I first saw it. I was like, oh, we got Ethan Hawke. He's been
Yeah,
like a little everywhere. He's on Black Phone. He was on the white. What was that Disney with the Egyptian thing? Moon.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Yeah, he was in Moon Knight
Oh, I
too.
didn't know he was in Moon
Man,
Knight.
yeah. He was like the main villain in Moon Knight. So he's been around. He's been around.
Ethan
So I
Hawke's
was
one of those
expecting.
actors who like he's there and then disappears for like 3 years, and then he shows up. He's like, "No, I was always here, guys." Like, no, no, you weren't, Ethan. I saw you.
he be dropping those like low key art house movies.
Yeah.
I've
Well, he
seen
was
I've
in
seen a
Boy.
few.
I remember Boy was like a big one years ago. You ever see that one?
Yeah.
Where it's yeah. But no, but hey, one thing I wanted to say, the director, Ryan Johnson, he directed the first two movies. I'm a huge fan of Ryan Johnson, had been for a while. A lot of people complain about this man because of his Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, which I still say is not a bad movie. People want to fight me on that all the time. Go ahead. Don't watch Knives Out and don't watch Glass Onion. This man's a good director. Accept it.
No, yeah, he definitely made two solid movies.
No,
You can't really knock him unless it's like
yeah,
just completely not your your cup of tea.
yeah,
But
exactly. If that's not your thing, that's not your thing.
if you're an avid movie watcher, then you're probably gonna like this movie. So
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you have me being a hardcore wrestling fan. I know what just angry fandom is, and that's what Star Wars fans are as well. So it's like if you change one thing slightly, like, nah, this isn't good because it wasn't what I wanted. And I was like, ah, here we go. It's a whole thing. But
this isn't what George Lucas would have wanted.
yeah, yeah. And I'm saying that as a Star Wars fan, like. Whatever. I enjoy him. I do like what's his name for episode 7 and 8, 9 as well. 7 and 9. I can't remember his name right now, but I'm a fan of all their stuff. And Ryan Johnson's going to get to do more Star Wars stuff anyway because Last Jedi was good. That's a whole other thing. But
Man, I feel like that's all of fandom anywhere though. Like Lord of the Rings, everything is just kind of everybody just wants to hate. Even on this Last of Us, everybody got something to say. Like, where were y'all a year ago, 2 years ago when it was just a game? Now
yeah,
everybody's a Last of Us like master. I beat the game twice. Like it's like okay.
yeah, no, I've
It's
seen so many
everybody. I
things
just
about
feel
that.
like everybody just likes to hate. Everybody likes to complain, and
Yeah, yeah, just hey man, enjoy it.
that just means you're doing something right. Though I heard, if you don't got no haters, you're doing something wrong. So,
Yeah.
good job,
Now,
Ryan Johnson.
so 3, they are making a third one. It has been confirmed, and rumor has it that the Muppets are going to be involved, and I'm not making this up.
uh-huh,
So we're talking about people
man,
hating on stuff. Wait till 3 comes out and you have Muppets. Let's see what
that
happens.
that sounds a little crazy. They got two successful movies now. It's just like let's go balls to the walls crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there was that. There was the tie-in with Among Us. There was rumors that because it's weird. Among Us has so Knives Out and Glass Onion have like the deal with Among Us for the cameo. They also have Hitman. Remember Hitman? They have like the thing with that where in one of the Hitman games, one of the more recent ones.
Agent 47.
Yeah, in one of the recent ones where you go in there and you go into like the Knives Out house and there's like a Knives Out murder mystery game that you play in Hitman.
Oh,
So it's
that's
like
sick.
so it's like they have tie-ins to video games already. So who's to say that they won't get a Muppets
Get a
thing or
game.
anything? You know,
It was Miss Piggy.
it probably was or Gonzo. I don't trust it. I never trusted him.
Oh
Never
yeah,
trusted
that
Gonzo.
nose. You can't trust that nose. And
But I think that's
people
all. That's all
noses
I
like
got for.
that.
That's where he keeps the knife.
Uh,
That's all I got for
it's
Glass Onion. How about you?
a sword. Final thoughts on a glass onion. Let's see. I think I covered everything on my list. Mhm. No, yeah, the butchers, the kombucha, the sweatshop. Yep. That sentence just sounds crazy.
That's great. Those are 3 things that are all involved in one movie.
Yeah. So I guess
Oh
final
man.
thoughts on this movie is like definitely a two thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I had to give it a out of 10 rating, I'd probably give it a 7.5 ish, close to 8 maybe.
Yeah,
You
I'm right
know.
there with you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
On a good day, I'll give it an
Somewhere in
8.
that range.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely worthy of it.
No.
Especially the fact that I watched it twice and I still enjoyed it. I hate watching movies like over again. I don't know why. It's logically, I feel like I'm a pretty logical person and it makes sense. You get more data, you get to see more stuff, but I just hate watching the same shit over again. I'm like, I already know where this is going.
I got you. I mean,
But
yeah, I get it. I'm a big rewatcher of movies. It has to be something that I feel like is worth rewatching. Like, I'm trying to think of a movie I won't rewatch, but if I can't think of one, that's because I won't rewatch it. So I don't know. But if I name a movie, I've probably rewatched it. So I don't know.
oh
But
yeah. So
no, I'm right there with you. I'll give it somewhere between a 7.5, 2, and 8. So definitely, 2 thumbs up for me as well. That's thumbs up from the LWG. We're just gonna say Eslam give it a thumbs up too.
we
Even though
know
it's
he's gonna like
PTSD.
it. We'll give him the thumbs up too.
He would have a weird complaint. He would be like, "Well, the it wasn't technically an onion. It was like something else." Like he would have a weird complaint like that. Like, and it would ruin the movie for
He's like that island. Well, I don't like that island. That island was it's in the wrong ocean.
him. Which they point out in the movie because he named the wrong ocean. Oh
Yep,
man, good
that's
times.
funny.
But I
Man.
think we're good there. I think we're good to jump into some news.
No, yeah, it sounds right.
Let's do it. And from the news, we have this down here where it says news. But once again, before we get into the news, if you like that, go ahead. We've reviewed many of other movies, shows, video games, and probably comic books at some point. So you can always do that on the Los Wise Guys website at loswiseguys.com. You can check out our takes on our social medias, which is available right here below. We are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on the TikToks. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, rate, review, do all the good stuff. Make it old school. Don't forget to pray. And check us out on YouTube. Just search for Los Wise Guys. Check us out on twitch.tv/Los Wise Guys, and where we have all our stuff. But let's break down the news real quick, Disco. So
Oh yeah.
let me get this out
Boogie
of here.
down.
Let's put the news thing back up. And let's see what we got for the news. So I got a couple quick stories here for you. So let's share my screen. Just gotta make sure I get the right one. All right. So we're jumping in. Now, when I texted you earlier, we were talking a little bit about the news, and we kind of both mentioned this right here. I'm assuming you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Dexter spinoff in the works.
Dexter spinoffs, plural, in the works at
Oh,
Showtime. So this is an article, you can check it out over on Collider, written by Rob London. So basically, Dexter New Blood happened. It was a great show. Some people hated the ending because I don't know. They're just fandoms. We were just talking about it. That's fandom. But
I think people didn't want to see him go, but honestly, it was the best move for him. Like
that's the perfect ending.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad they did it like that, and they didn't like try to cash grab and just like, oh, let's get 10 more seasons of Dexter. Like, no,
exactly.
no.
No,
You can only kill so long.
There we go. So with that, so apparently, remember when we were doing the reviews? And by the way, if you guys want to check out our reviews, we did a review for every single episode. You can watch it on YouTube. Just go back, look for our rate and review for Dexter, or recap and review it might be rewarded as. But one thing that I was adamant on the entire time was like, please don't give us another season. Please don't give us a spinoff about Harrison. Please do not continue that story. And they were planning on doing all that, all the things I didn't want. They're like, let's go to Harrison. He's going to go to New York, and we're going to see him try to deal with killing his own father. Blah blah blah. Spoilers. I guess. And apparently, the people at Showtime are like, nah, we're not doing that. And I rejoiced. And then they said, we're going to do spin-offs, but what we're planning on doing is doing a young Dexter learning the code from Harry, which is something they were rumored to do a very long time ago when the original series ended. They were saying, hey, we might get young Dexter in there learning the code. And they're also thinking about doing spin-offs where they spotlight the major killers that Dexter had to deal with throughout the show, including the most notorious of them all, Trinity. So that's the thing. So those are like the different rumors they have, and like I said, there's multiple spin-offs. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have one for Trinity, if they have one for his brother Brian. They're already talking about doing young Dexter. So this is something I'm a little bit more okay with and seeing the story, because I feel like if they just continued with Harrison, it's just like it's almost like a sad ending. Like as weird as it sounds, Dexter dying at the end of New Blood is the happiest ending you can get. The one of the most notorious killers in history died, and that's a good thing. You don't want to see another killer spawn out of that. So I'm glad they're not continuing that, at least not for now. But Disco, what do you think of this news? You're muted.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
No problem.
I was just talking to myself. It's all cool. I do that.
It's all good.
I have mixed feelings. I I feel like I like the way they're going, but I don't know. I just feel like they're gonna mess it up, especially more like in the younger Dexter. They're gonna make it cheesy for us. I kind of like that mystery and just like he just had like a troubled childhood. I don't know. I feel like shedding too much light might just I don't know. I like the mystery and the enigma of Dexter, and he's this killer and what they've shown. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. But I do like the show, the Trinity Killer one. I'm all for that. I always felt like that was probably one of the better seasons, one of the better villains.
by far. Yeah.
And so for him to get some spotlight, I for sure want to see that, especially how he like managed to stay concealed so long. And if it wasn't like for Dexter and all that shit, uh, I really want to see that. And for the brother, I don't know. I've never really been interested in the brother, I guess, but I guess there's some potential there. You could depending how they swing it, it could be good, but I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical on these things now.
Yeah. As it should be.
I'm
The whole reason I didn't want a sequel series. But
yeah.
it's like if there has to be a continuation, this is what I want. If there has to be something, I prefer this. And I would like to see honestly, I mean, I think Trinity would be awesome, of course, that's a no-brainer. But I think Brian Moser, his brother, would be a good one simply because like think about it. His brother, born in blood just like him, all this other stuff. He had a he grew up all screwed up. He's a killer as well. But like Dexter has his like specific code. Everybody has their own code. Think about this for a second. Like Brian had a code as well, but he turned himself into the Ice Tray Killer to catch Dexter's attention. Did we ever see another killer that was just like they modify their kills? Like they modify a code, they create a brand new like method for something else. Like we don't know what Brian's original kill code was. He just created the Ice Tray Killer for Dexter, so he could be caught by Dexter.
I
So
see, I see.
I feel like that would be interesting. But you have that. You have Hannah,
Didn't
who
didn't
the
Dexter kill
poisoner.
him? So isn't it kind of like are they working to reach his doom or something?
What do you mean?
Did Dexter kill him?
Yeah, Dexter killed all
So
of them.
so he's like working to I don't know. Work yeah, I wonder if like this finale it's like gonna go on until he dies or is it
No,
gonna
I
just
mean
be
it's
like
probably. I mean it's gonna be the same thing as I'm assuming they're doing for Trinity, where it's just like they're, if anything, they're gonna show young Trinity being Trinity, like because
I
he killed
see.
Trinity too, like he
Yeah,
killed
yeah, yeah.
all of them.
That's true.
So
That's true.
it's gonna be the same thing. The only killer that did survive was Hannah, who was who no she didn't because we found out that she died of cancer in New Blood.
Yeah.
So it's like literally none of them are alive; they're all dead. But
I, li- I like Jimmy Smith and Schmidt
Jimmy
and
Smith is
and
amazing.
Dexter.
I put Jimmy Smith in anything.
There's
Yeah,
one line where he's talking to Dexter. He's like, "That's brilliant, Dexter," and just the way
yeah,
he said it and just everything. I will never forget that. I
yeah.
even say that sometimes to Eric, and like he'll just
I
start
remember
laughing.
I remember that quote because of you. Like so right before Dexter New Blood came out, I did a rewatching of like the entire series. And
Yeah.
literally when he got to that scene where Dexter's showing him like this is how I get rid of the bodies. I dig up an already dug grave and I put the body in it and I pat it over so you can do things. That's brilliant, Dexter. I immediately thought of you as soon as that happened because I remember you telling me years ago about that.
I'm consistent.
Yeah.
I really like that. That it's something about the way he said it. It just stays in my head.
Wow, it's great. But I don't know if like doing something on him would make sense because like he didn't really start killing until
Oh
he met
yeah,
Dexter, but he still had that darkness in him. Like he didn't have a
yeah.
problem killing. Like and Dexter
You could
exposed that to him.
see the curiosity in him. He's like, "Oh,
Him
this
and his
could be
brother
fun."
because they got it from their dad, and it was like a whole thing. But yeah, that you have
Yeah.
the pyromaniac there, Lila, who was
Mm,
Dexter's love interest in season 2.
yeah.
So it's like there's a couple people that are interesting in there, but we'll
They're
see.
really expanding on this whole Dexterverse. That's pretty they're I guess Dexter really is that big. You could just cash in. There's just so many spin-offs you could do.
Well, you know that New Blood was like the most watched show series in like Showtime history.
Oh wow.
I was
I
reading up
want
on
to
that. Like that's their
see
most
I
watched thing.
want to see one about damn, what's the cop's name that was following him the whole season? And
Dokes.
then Dokes. I want to get like a Dokes spin-off. Just see all the headaches that he goes through just trying to track Dexter and just sniffing out Dexter, knowing Dexter's a piece of crap. Like
Oh man, I could
Dokes
just
is always
imagine
one
the
of my
intro.
favorites.
Oh, Dokes is the best. I could just imagine like the intro for the Doke show. It's just like he's pulling up at a drive-through. It's like, sir, do you want anything with that burger? And then it just says Dokes.
I would
Like,
be fine with that. I don't know if you've seen the meme where they make fun of him, where it's like they keep changing his phrase, like pizza
yeah. Well,
pie,
that's why I said
motherfucker.
that. Yeah, because it's fries. Yeah. That's why I said that.
Yeah, yeah.
um, but
I'll be
no,
okay with that.
Doke's very very different from the books. I started reading those books years ago, never finished them. Dokes goes through some stuff. I'll just say
That
that.
that's crazy. I never even knew it was a book. I might have to start
Oh, dude, they're based off they're based off of
that audiobook.
the book. Very different from the show. The most similar one is season one to the first book, but even that has a lot of changes. And then literally the second book after, completely different from the show. Completely different.
I've noticed that when people adapt books and shit like that, games, it's impossible to stay the same. It's like no, it's like they just feel compelled. It's like, oh well, this is in my realms now. I'm gonna make these changes. Let me change everything. It's like
Yeah.
I
Spoilers for the book. Dokes is alive well after the first book.
oh wow,
Yeah.
wow.
So like
Definitely
Dokes
gotta
plays a
read that.
much bigger role in the books than he does in the show. But anyway, so that's what I got for Dexter. So let's move on here. Let's see. So this is another news story I got here. So there is a Nintendo Direct confirmed for February 8th. That's tomorrow in our time since we're recording on Tuesday. It will include roughly 40 minutes of new info. This is an article from GameSpot written by Jason Finelli. So we're getting a Nintendo Direct tomorrow, Disco. I know you're not that big into games, but I know that you have a Switch. I know you love your Switch, and it's very, very likely, like I'm 90% sure, if not 95% sure, they're talking about that Breath of the Wild sequel tomorrow, Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
yeah.
I've been curious about that because I've been hearing like the Switch can't support the new one, blah blah blah. So I'm really
Mhm.
I'm wondering what they got to say. But
Yeah.
this is I got a personal vendetta against Nintendo. Last year,
Many people do.
2022, they
Mhm.
Dying Light 2 came out for the Switch, and they announced like, oh, the Switch version. Well, it didn't come out for the Switch; it came out just in general.
Yeah.
And then the Nintendo was like 6 months. We'll have it on Switch, and we're going on to like a whole year now. And
Hmm.
so I really like that Dying Light 1 game, and so
Hmm.
now I really need to play this Dying Light 2. But I don't have any consoles anymore. I gave Eric my Xbox One because his broke, so I
Hmm.
have no like super console anymore. So I can't even like borrow. I guess I have my laptop. I guess I could use that, but.
I played on there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe I'll figure it out on that. But I was just
Yeah.
kind of butthurt because they were like 6 months, and then 6 months came by, and I was like, oh, maybe to the end of the year. And then end of the year came by. We're in February, and still nothing. I'm like, where
Yeah.
is my Dying Light 2? I need my
Well,
zombie fix.
yeah. Dude, welcome to Nintendo fandom. Like
It's
people have been saying this for years, like about Nintendo stuff. Like you just caught this one game where it's just like, what's going on? Nintendo doesn't care.
they don't. They're gonna keep sending out fucking like Mario parties and stupid games I don't like. It's like
Yeah.
it's like, gosh dang
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, in Nintendo's defense, those games are going to sell well. Dying Light 2, it has its fans, sure, but it's not going to sell like a Mario game, you
That's
know?
true. That's true. But that sucks. Ah, damn Nintendo. I've actually Nintendo Switch actually kind of saved me on this Dubai trip because
Mm,
I out
great
of
for
everyone
fans.
probably had one of the longest plane rides. I had an 11-hour plane ride, then like a 4-hour layover in France, and then 7 hours from there to Dubai. So I was in the air for like a whole day.
You went to
And
France?
I yeah, I took a shit in France. I did. It was
Wow.
wild. It was good.
Do you know what
It was
they
good.
call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
Man, uh,
Don't let me
what
down.
was that?
Don't let me down.
This is from fucking Pulp Fiction, but I forgot
Yeah,
what
it
they
is.
call it. It's what do they even use over there?
Well, it's the metric system, so they don't know what a quarter pounder is. That's a direct quote from the movie, by the way.
Shoot, man.
uh, it's a Royale with
But Royale, damn, that's what it was. Fuck, I gotta watch Pulp Fiction again, man. I gotta
yeah,
watch.
man.
I've been,
That's one of those
watching too
movies you
much.
watch multiple times right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's so long, you could definitely like catch so much, so much, so
Oh,
much.
I
But
quote that movie like front to back. Like,
but yeah, I ended up getting Xenoverse on sale, and then I
okay,
ended up getting Xenoblade Chronicles. So I was like Xenoed out for this
yeah,
trip,
man. I
and I
got Fire
enjoyed
Emblem
both.
Engage on that.
Ah, okay, okay.
I'm like
Is
it.
that the
I'm
new
like
one?
it. Yeah, Three Houses was like one of my favorite games on the Switch. If you get, I mean, It's a tactical like RPG, JRPG. Really good. Really good story for Three Houses. Fire Emblem Engage, not so much.
Oh wait,
It's
that's
cool.
a different one because they have Three Hopes too. That's the continuation of
That's
Three.
well, no,
Or is that
it
DLC?
is no, it is like there's the other one that's in between. I guess it is Three Hopes, but that one's it's a it continues it, but it's a completely different type of game. That one's a MOBA.
Ah, okay, okay,
So
okay,
it's like,
okay.
yeah, so it's this, it's sort of, it's not a continuation, it's a retelling of Three Houses in a different format, and then it's
Oh,
a different type of game
different
altogether.
play style. Okay, I
Yeah,
got you. I got you.
yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoyed my Xeno games, my Xenoverse. I like made my own little like fighting character, and I was like flying around, beating up Boo and all these like crazy Dragon Ball characters. All the like the new storyline, I guess
Mhm.
there's like a whole bunch of changing and
Oh,
dimensions and time
yeah, well,
time
that's a time
hops.
thing. Yeah, because I played Xenoverse back on the PS4 when it first came out, like a while back. That game, it's its own like it has nothing to do with like the anime or anything or manga. It's its own
Oh, I see.
story.
So that's not
Yeah,
even the story either. It's,
that's not it
I
at
see.
all. Like,
No, nice, very nice then. So I just played a game with
no,
characters from
it's not
Dragon
a
Ball.
bad game. It's not a bad game.
Yeah,
It's
it
a good
wasn't a
game.
bad game at all,
Yeah.
but I was kind of let down that it's not
No.
like canon
I
or
made a
anything.
Namekian.
Just
I was like, if I'm making a
oh
character,
yeah,
I'm making a Namekian.
Eric made an Namekian, so I was like, I don't want to copy it, and
Yeah.
I felt like Super Saiyan was a cop out, so I just went
Can't do
Earthling.
Super Saiyan. No, you gotta do
Yeah,
Earthling at that point. That sucks,
yeah,
dude. It sucks for you.
yeah. So yeah, it was fine. I like my Earthling powers.
No, no, it's fine.
I made a little
But
badass,
yeah. But anyway,
and
so
then
tomorrow we got the Nintendo Direct. I'm sorry, you saying?
oh yeah, Xenoblade was really good. They spent a lot of time building up the fighting gameplay, and I'm still like learning the fighting gameplay, and I've been playing it for like a couple of hours now, and it's just
Yeah.
crazy how in depth that the fighting style. I mean, I already kind of got most of it because I played the last one, but I guess for like new players, it really can be
Yeah.
overwhelming because there's a lot of stuff and like you have to be aware of the distance and like attack canceling if you're into that stuff and then you know then you have talent trees and then you have like who you want in your group and to have what classes so it gets really customizable and I personally I like that but I know
Yeah.
some people will get overwhelmed there's just like there's too many options just tell me
Yeah.
we gotta go here
It
like
yeah, it
but
depends on the game for me. Like Fire Emblem has that, and I love it. But then like God of War is just like you could have this armor to do this, that, and I was like, just, it's just stop. I'm Kratos. All right, just relax.
I
Like,
said I'm Kratos. Yes, I mean, I can't wait to see what they have for us tomorrow, especially the Breath of the Wild. That was one of the best games that I probably like ever played on Switch, especially for Switch, just because
oh yeah,
that portability and the depth of the world was awesome. So
yeah.
I'm
So
curious what else they have.
well, that's the thing. So I'm like I said, I'm very positive. Tears of the Kingdom is going to be that's the name of the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I'm pretty sure we're going to get Pikmin 4 on there. Anybody who's hoping for Metroid Prime 4, you're insane. That's not happening.
Definitely not, especially
And
since
don't be
Dread just came
surprised.
out like a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Metroid Prime was announced like a solid like 5 or 6 years before Dread ever showed up, and people are still waiting for that game. Um,
It's coming.
but you got that, and then Advance Wars, 1+2 reboot. That's a game that was supposed to come out last year, and it didn't release because of the war that's going on between Russia and the Ukraine. And
Wow.
because it has wars in the title, and it's like the game was supposed to launch literally right when that started, they're like, ah, this is in bad taste. We don't want to do it. And the
Yeah.
game is finished. It didn't get released. They accidentally launched it, and one person in the world got it on their Nintendo Switch, and they played it for a little bit, and then they got taken off their Switch. And people are still waiting for that game to release. So that's that it
Wow.
might be available.
I think
And
I
it's
think I like took that game last season.
no, it was you. I think you picked it up, but Eslam had it first, and then there was that whole debacle. So Eslam got rid of it,
Oh.
and then I think you picked it up because you weren't aware of what was going on with it.
No, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Fun fact: Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, first pick of the draft this year. I got it. Went to me. Pretty happy about that one.
Wow.
Pretty
Okay,
happy
look
about
at
that one.
you go. That's definitely gonna be a
LWG
banger.
FPGL S3. Check it out on our main site, lowswiseguys.com. You see everything there.
You learned from last season. Last season we had fucking Elden Ring just sitting there. Everybody picked their own game, and then you're like, why didn't anybody choose this?
Oh, dude, yeah. When I saw you guys, just everybody go past Elden Ring, I was like, it ain't going past me. It ain't going past me. But anyway, so we got that, and let's move on to the next story. So I do have some wrestling news here. So this is from WrestleTalk.com, written by Sanchez Taylor. Jerry Lawler has been hospitalized after a medical episode. So, Jerry the King Lawler, um, one of the best wrestlers ever come out of Memphis, Hall of Famer, and a lot of people, anybody who watch wrestling like in the '90s, late '90s, 2000s, stuff like that, they know Jerry the King Lawler as a commentator with good old JR. So
Yeah.
Jerry the King Lawler, you know, legend in many different formats of pro wrestling, yesterday did suffer a stroke, it seems. He lost all feeling on, I believe it was the right side of his body, wasn't able to speak. And most recent report that I saw, he started to get a little bit of feeling, in his right side there. I believe he's still having a little trouble speaking. It does take some time for that to come. And so he's okay, but he's still hospitalized. So hopefully he gets a little bit better. This is, I believe, the second stroke Jerry the King Lawler has had. And we do know that about a decade ago, he did suffer the heart attack live on Monday Night Raw, which was a very scary moment for anybody who's watching that live. I do remember that. There was wrestlers wrestling in the ring. Commentary literally just stopped talking, and then the wrestlers, they kept going with the match, but you see them glancing over to the side where the camera wasn't showing the whole time, and then they cut to commercial, they come back, and they reveal, hey, Jerry the King Lawler just had a heart attack. He's getting rushed to the hospital. So it was a scary moment. So hopefully, the King's all right. He was literally on WWE TV just a little while ago, doing the pre-show for the Royal Rumble, which we talked about on last week's episode. That's how recent that was. So,
Yeah. That's crazy. They say I read somewhere that like if you have a stroke, you typically have like 2 years to live. So the fact that this man had a heart attack and then like multiple strokes, he's a fighter. You could tell. Hopefully
yeah,
he pulls through and gets the best doctors to look at him, and hopefully he makes those necessary changes because that's one thing, because my father died of the same like thing almost. So
mhm,
that's one thing, you have a stroke or some sort of event, and then you change your lifestyle because of the near death, and then you kind of slip back into your old ways. So I wonder if that was like maybe something. But anyway, yeah, just
yeah,
I hope he
potentially.
gets better. Hope he's a legend, man. Like you
Yeah,
said, I
absolutely.
remember him. I remember him from the commentating, and like you said, it's him and JR. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, Jerry the King Lawler, and so he's 73 years old. Crazy thing is, he still wrestles on the Indies. He has about one match a month. So there is that. I met him at Comic Con a couple times. He had the darkest hair I've ever seen. So that's one thing that always stood out to me. And I don't know if you know, he's like this amazing artist. Like he's like one of the greatest artists. That's how he got into wrestling. Believe it or not, he used to
art,
he used to go
that's
to yeah
crazy.
he used to go into Memphis and watch the shows and stuff, and then he would like draw the wrestlers and like send it to the booker and be like, hey, I do this, and then they like hired him. It was like, hey, do you want to like do this for it? Like we'll pay you money. So like he would draw for their show, and then they trained him into being a wrestler, and then he literally like bought it, and it was his promotion, and then like look at where you came from drawing. So it's like, yeah, Jerry the King Lawler is truly a legend. So well wishes, from the LWG, and hopefully everything works out and everything's okay with him.
Yeah, same.
All right. Next one, it's also wrestling. It's not necessarily a news story. This is something that did happen. So Lanny Poffo recently passed away. Um, a lot of people might not be familiar with Lanny Poffo. If you're a wrestling fan, if you pay attention to like, a lot of older stuff or indie stuff, you might remember the name. He was Leaping Lanny Poffo, also known as the Genius. He's honestly mostly well known for being the brother of Macho Man Randy Savage, and so he recently passed away. I'm not sure the cause of death. So it's sad to see him go. He's another, just like Jerry the King Lawler, wrestler who come out of Memphis, just like Macho Man did and Lawler did. So Lanny Poffo did pass away. That was about 2 weeks ago now, and it sucks. He's a legend. A lot of the younger wrestlers did look up to him. Like he did a lot to help them out. And yeah, man, dude's a legend. Uh, he was underrated as a talker, I'd say. I think at the time he was considered a good talker, but like over the years, people kind of forgot. But if you go back and listen to some of his promo and stuff, like there's a reason why they called him the genius. Like Lanny Poffo is, he's up there. He's definitely a legend. But sad to see him go. So R.I.P.
Yeah, I didn't really know him, but it always
Yeah,
sucks to see someone so revered like go too soon.
absolutely.
So, my deepest condolences to the Poffo family.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he's with his brother now, so we got that. He and
Yeah,
Macho
at least
Man.
he's not alone.
Yep. All right, so that's all I got for news and everything. So let me there you go. Stop sharing there, and so we're good there. So what are we
um,
doing, Disco?
I'm gonna do some brief movie reviews. If you maybe want to write that into a banner,
Let's
just
do it. I was
so
ready.
boom.
I was ready.
I think I got to call you the genius. You're so prepared. Oh my god. Okay. So as avid listeners would know, I've been doing this like review segment where I've reviewed some shows or whatever I've seen recently. And given that I've been on crazy long flights and whatnot, I've seen a couple movies. So I just wanted to briefly kind of mention them all because I don't want to give them all like their own little segment because they're else they're gonna start stacking. So here it goes. Brief movie reviews. I'm gonna give slight information about it and what I rated and thumbs up, thumbs down. And so here
Oh,
we go. The first movie that I want to mention is 3,000 Years of Longing, starring Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton. And I actually really enjoyed this movie, so much to the point that I was sad that it ended. I wanted more. I wanted to know more. And it's about this genie, this lady that finds a genie, and she's kind of a loner, and so she wishes for love. And so the genie she wishes for the genie to love her because the genie talks about his past and he like loves so deeply. So she was like, I wanted that. I want that. And so they end up being together and they fall in love. And it's a pretty epic story as she kind of like reveals her past and Idris Elba reveals the past of like what it's like to be a jinn or genie and how pretty much talking about his different masters and his different events in his life that kind of shaped him. And at the end, I was just like, I don't want you to go. And so it left me longing more. There was 3,000 years of longing. So
mhm.
I'm longing for the next one if there is one. Hopefully not 3,000 years. Um, IMDb rated it a 6.7, and
Mm.
I've been following this IMDb rating. I'm gonna introduce it to the LWG. So pretty much anything 5.8 is gonna be an average movie, very average. Anything lower is gonna be crap. Anything upward on 6 and upward is usually a pretty decent movie. So the fact that this is 6.7 means it's a decent movie, and I totally agree. And the next movie I wanted to review is The Menu.
Mm.
7.2 on IMDb. And this one was a doozy. I highly recommend this one.
I've
The
heard a
acting
lot
was
about this. Yeah.
superb. The main character, Ralph Fiennes, um, and Anya Joy Taylor, the way they kind of like just bounce off each other, it was just so good. And even the concept of it, they go to this very like niche restaurant and it's they're serving a little more than just food and not in a gross way or anything. It's just I don't want to like reveal anything. It's just
What
a little
genre
over
is
the
this movie?
top. Like thriller, I would
Okay.
say. I guess maybe thriller horror because it
Okay.
was kind of scary, but not like monster scary, not fantasy.
I
It's
got
just
you.
this this restaurant is just crazy pretty
Okay.
much.
Mm.
Yeah, so Anya did a great job, and I love how at the end she kind of like solved
Mhm.
this problem that she had, and the way she did it. And I, slight spoilers, I've never seen someone so hurt from ordering a cheeseburger. She ordered a cheeseburger, and this like top tier, top of the line chef was just like, he cooks all the best meals in the world, and she's asking for a cheeseburger. He was just like, "This is what you want?" Like, but he ends up cooking her like the best goddamn cheeseburger she ever had, uh, and I don't want to give any more spoilers, but cheeseburgers. uh, the menu, really, really good. 2 thumbs up, 7.2. Next is I saw Bones and Awe. This one's starring Timothy Chalamet and Taylor Russell. This one got a 6.9 from IMDb. So on the scale, that is pretty good, but it wasn't a bad movie, but it just wasn't my taste. I felt like it was a little lackluster. I've seen this kind of concept done before, and pretty much where people have like a lust or an affinity for flesh and eating people. So she finds out that she has this addiction she needs to feed, and she meets Timothée Chalamet, and they kind of go around traveling America and or whatever country they're in, and they meet other people like them. And this one dude that they met like built up this lore where it's like, oh, you don't want to get to Bones and All. Apparently, when you get to that point in this, it's life changing. The way he made it sound, it was like, oh, you eat people now, but once you get to Bones and All, that's when it really begins. Like, and so I was like, oh, this is getting crazy. And then the rest of the movie just kind of fizzled out into a romance, and they never got to Bones and All, which is the name of the movie. So I was kind of just like, we just got to like
Maybe that's all it
Bones.
was. That's what it
We
was.
didn't get to Bones and All. So I
That
really
was
wanted to
that was
see
it. It was
that.
the romance.
I'm pretty sure it was. You got two very good-looking young cast, Timothy and Taylor, very, very beautiful looking. So I guess that's what they're selling, but that's not what I was there for, and I felt, let down, betrayed a little. I was like, it's not a bad movie so far. The romance is okay, but I was just like, they didn't. Why name it Bones and All if you're not gonna get to that like that point? And I was thinking maybe at the end he would have to eat her, like, or one of them has to eat each other, but it didn't get there. It just ended. And so that was a
Good man.
6.9, and I'll
Holy
give
cow.
that a 1 star, a 1 thumb up. And I can't give it 2 because I really feel let down because of that title. Um, but definitely worth a watch. If you have spare time. I'm not gonna say, oh, rush out, see it now. If I had to, I would choose the menu for any of these movies on the list. Go see that one first. Um, So that was Bones and All 6.9. It was okay. One thumbs up. And lastly, I want to talk about The Beast. Uh, it got a 5.6 on IMDb, and it felt like a 5.6 the whole way through. Honestly, it was a very, very generic movie. It was this Idris Elba. He's in Africa or somewhere where there's lions. I don't know. That could be the Amazon too, I guess. So I don't know exactly where he was. But he had to fight this lion, and that was it. That's it. The lion, was this big hulking lion and threatened to kill. It killed like all these villages, and then it finally just set its sights on Idris Elba and his little family, his 2 daughters, and his friend. And uh, it was lackluster. It was very much a background movie, kind of just. Honestly, I only watched it because I was stuck on a plane and I liked Idris Elba. um, yeah, yeah. So definitely, I don't recommend that one at all,
All right.
unless you are into mediocre movies that kind of like okay.
Well, I feel like you're talking about Eric right now.
I am. Eric's like, I like watching those movies because they might not be bad, but you could see where they went wrong or something. I was like, if that floats your boat, buddy, I'd rather just see a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so The Beast, Idris Elba, 5.6 on IMDb. Lackluster, very, very kind of boring, and I do not recommend it. Don't go see it unless you like Idris Elba, because he's a handsome guy, a very nice dude, very strapping. You get to see him do some action scenes and fight a lion. So if you're into that, definitely go watch it. But if not, hard pass. Uh, and that's the last of it right now. That's the last movie I have on this list. This brief
Okay.
list, and hope y'all enjoyed. Majority of them were good, except for The Beast. Don't go watch that one. Two thumbs up on 3,000 Years of Longing. Two thumbs up, three thumbs up on The Menu. I really really enjoyed that one. And Bones and all, it was okay. It was good, but worth the watch. But just kind of just went a different avenue than I was thinking. So yeah, that's that's my segment for this week.
Okay. All right. I'm very interested on the IMDb scale. So because when I think of scores, I'm used to video game scores, if anything, especially now with the LWGFEGL. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like video game scores have always been in the sense of if it is below a 70, it's not really worth it. So it's like it's interesting we're there where it's like it's 6 is like the kind of like the cutoff, and then it's
Yeah.
like so it's interesting. I can't help but think it's like the moment you're like it's a 6, I was like it's just like I'm
I don't know.
instinctively just like
I'll pass on
no
it. No, yeah. I'm honestly I'm like that with movies now that I like kind of discovered the scale,
yeah
and
yeah
it's been holding true to me. Like,
yeah
some six will be like hit or miss, but like there won't be bad movies. Like
yeah
the upper sixes will definitely be good.
yeah
A seven and up is gonna be fantastic. My favorite movie of all time is Green Book, and that got an 8.5, and it shows. It was just such a good movie.
yeah.
Um,
So that's the thing right
I
there.
don't
You're
think
saying it's an 8.5 and it shows that to me, I'm just like, oh, okay, so it's mediocre. Because like I'm used to like if 8.5 is just like it's okay. It's like if it's not a 9 or
from
up,
your
it's
from your game
I'm thinking
scale,
of video
yeah.
game exactly. Now
Like
it's
I'll
like I
pass,
don't
I'll pass.
really, yeah, I don't really go. I've said it before on the podcast. I've never been one to really care about scores. Like even in video games, if it's you can take a game I really like and it might be like a 72 or something, but I always go off of like how I feel, or if I do have to pay attention to a review or something, I don't go to a specific site. I'll go to a specific person who has similar taste. So it's like if one person's reviewing a game and I know they have a similar taste that I have, I was like, okay, I want to know that person's opinion, if anything. If not, I'll just go in there myself and I'll figure it out from there. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's something about the IMDb and like Rotten Tomatoes and all them. It's just like I don't trust those guys.
I don't mess with Rotten Tomatoes, but I
Yeah.
do. I am a fan of the IMDb. But
It's working. It's
one
working
thing
for
one
you.
thing that I noticed on IMDb is when a movie comes out, you have to give it a couple days because I guess people are still putting their
Yeah.
votes in, their whatever. Because there's some movies that when they come out, it's like, oh, this is 6.8, this is 6.7. But I guess it's just because only a few people like put in their input. And then
Yeah.
like a day later, 2 later, it's a 4.6. I'm just like, no wonder why it was so trash.
Well, it's
Ah.
that, and then you have the deal with people review bombing, which is another reason why I don't care. Like, I'm, I know we're not talking about The Last of Us. We're saving for like the season finale. But did you see episode 3 of The Last of Us with Bill and Frank?
Yeah.
So I, so in my opinion, that's the best episode so far. And it started off, it was great and everything, and then it just started getting review bombed insanely because of the context, and you already understand. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but you understand the context of that episode. So people are going out there, oh, it's bad. They have an agenda. They're trying to do this, that, and the other. So they're just like review bombing it, and it's knocking down the score. So it's like it's one of those things where it's just like I can't trust the score because of that. You know what I'm saying? Because there are people that are going to do that, and it's like I'd rather just have my own thing on it.
Also the IMDb scale that I kind of am creating only works for movies. The TV shows are on a different scale. Let me
Oh, okay,
caveat that. It's
okay.
and also foreign movies sometimes will be crazy. I'll see a foreign movie and it'll be like, oh, 7 point something. I'm like, oh, this got to be good. And then I watch and I'm like, this was not good. I don't know what the hell I was watching.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I've talked about this with the LWGV FPGL where it's like if you have a game where it's like a game I don't really care about, like for example, Zelda Breath of the Wild has a great score. I play that game. I literally gave it away. I didn't even sell it. I gave it to Eslam. I was like, I don't want this. I don't like this. It's not for me. I gave it away. So if I were to review it, it's getting a bad score. But let's be real, honest opinion. Most people look at that game. There's a reason why they call it one of the greatest games ever made. Screw my opinion. I'm wrong. They're right, essentially, which is fine. But it's one of those things. So that's why you have people who review that type of game are the people who understand and enjoy that type of game. So it's the same thing with foreign films, I have to assume, where it's just like they're used to watching that type of foreign film, so they give it that score. That's the only thing I could think of. That's why
And
it works out
also
that way.
in other countries, I would imagine there's like different like affinities for different
Exactly.
movie aspects too. So
Yeah.
like maybe something that they would like doesn't apply here, and we just kind of see it as cheesy or like,
You're like, how is that? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's something there. Back to that Last of Us. I enjoyed that episode. I just wanted just a quick little thing.
Oh yeah, love that episode.
I did enjoy that episode, even though it was kind of they're kind of doing their own tangent, and even though people say it's like a like gay motives or whatever, they're trying to push this stuff on us. You you how could you not like that episode? It was like at the end you like fell in love with them. I was like, let me get in there, like let me die with y'all. Some
When
Romeo and
was the last
Juliet.
time? When was the last time you saw a like some like people grow old together in a apocalypse movie? Like
It,
that's or show or whatever. That's never been done.
it felt so realistic too, like like granted that guy just got shot and then it just skipped over, but like in the time skip it made you really like put things into perspective. Like there are no doctors, there are no like there is no medicine. Like I mean, not that there's no medicine, but there's not advanced medicine, like, or if there is, it's all dwindling and it's running out. And so if you do get some simple little disease, like they didn't, I don't think they clarified or anything what he had, but
I think they were trying to imply it was cancer.
oh, okay. So, but like
Yeah.
even that's not a big deal. I mean, that's not a little deal. So,
Yeah, because
but
at one
like,
point they even
but
said there was just like, yeah, they didn't have a cure for this before this all happened. Like they do say at one point. So it's like I feel like they were like that was the
they did the
yeah
so it is it just puts things into perspective how something that may be not a big deal like now can be a big deal. Like especially like if you have diabetes, you're probably gonna die in the apocalypse. If you have,
yeah exactly
you know, Chris has like spinal issues, so I imagine after a while like he won't be able to get like cortisone shots or just like that. Me, I have bad knees and psoriasis, so if I don't have stuff to maintain my psoriasis, that could get really bad. So everybody like kind of has like
yeah
everybody I know at least kind of has like some issues. So it's like
yeah
how well would we really do in the
yeah.
apocalypse? And
Something as simple as getting cut, getting an infection that could kill you.
yeah,
Yeah.
the one thing that Eric actually said that kind of made sense is that there's like only 8 episodes, and they devoted a whole episode to that, and that was kind of like I could see that argument where
Yeah.
it's like,
Well,
there's
I
still
think
so
it's
much more of the
yeah.
game left, and it's like they barely like, but we're like 4 episodes in or 5 episodes.
They're staying the course. I was talking to this about someone. I think I was even talking about on the last episode with Rudy. He's weird. He doesn't watch the show until it completely ends and then he starts it. But he was asking something about it, and I was like, I did a full breakdown of like what's going to happen in each episode, and I'm so far like on point. It's just like I see because it's like I think it's 9 episodes and there's I think 10 chapters in the game. So it's like they're kind of spread it out. So it's like it's working perfectly fine. The Bill and Frank stuff, none of that happened in the game. That's completely they added on. It's all different. But even the last episode, episode 4 that came out, it's similar to the game, but they're combining things. They're switching some stuff from later on that they're putting in here. So it's like I see what they're doing, but they're gonna hit that whole first game no problem at the pace they're going at.
Yeah, so I mean that's just one concern that I heard, and I was like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't know that there was gonna be 9 episodes, and I wasn't on
yeah,
top of it like that. But definitely got me a little worried because I was like,
yeah.
there is they are kind of are devoting a lot of time to this, and but overall, I couldn't even knock it because the episode was so damn good. Like
Really good.
it was, I really like the Bill. What was it, Nick Offerman?
Yeah,
He's just such a good actor, and I
dude,
love
he's
that
amazing.
you could show his versatility in this, and I resonate with him because I'm like that survivalist. I have like a giant knife in my hand right now, and I'm like guns and engineering like traps and shit, especially with bushcraft and stuff,
Yeah,
snare traps and all that stuff. So I'm like, I can see myself being that guy, and then
yeah,
surviving and not really living for anything, and then boom, I
yeah.
catch a person in my hole and serve them dinner.
I mean, yeah, that and they like I said, they changed a lot from the this turned into a Last of Us episode 3 review.
It
But
really did.
just real quick, it was like they changed a lot from the game. One thing that they did keep Bill, like Bill's a jerk. He's a jerk in the show too. He's more of a jerk in the game. The way things ended with Bill and Frank in the game are very, very different than in the show. I feel like the show did it on a much happier note than it did in the game. The game was, if anybody doesn't remember, go back, check it out, play it, or watch it online. But the game has its own very, very different take on that. But it was a great episode. I thought it was great. So far, the show is good. And this upcoming episode is going to be available on Friday because the Super Bowl is not going to be Sunday, so don't miss it. Friday.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't want to compete. Let's just.
Yep. But I think
Yep.
that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I think we're
I'll sit
done with
there.
this episode. We
All right.
we
Well,
managed to squeeze in a
yeah, we
last of
got it.
us. We gotta recover all of this with Aslam though, because
Oh yeah, we're
I
gonna do
know
all
he's
that.
gonna wanna.
Dude, when we do the next week's episode, we're gonna be touching on what's been announced with like DC with like DCU and their movie stuff. We're gonna be sitting on that for a minute, so get ready for that one. But
I bet, especially since we've been gone for like Aslam especially like 2-3 weeks, and he's like the main DC like
but that's the thing.
person.
I literally had the news. I have it made like already. I had the article, who I pulled it from, and everything. And that's was legit. Was just like he texted. He was just like, "Hey, so do you have any DC news?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What is it?" I told him. He's like, "Yeah, can we hold off till I get back?" I was like, "Absolutely." Yeah, I got you.
You're like, after I put all this time to make the
No, dude,
slides.
that was like 5 seconds, but I was just like, that's the thing. I was just like, I was thinking about it too. I was like, man, that stuff's not gonna be on here. He's the one who always brings the DC news, so I felt bad about it. That's why he was like, can you wait? I was like, absolutely, I can wait. Yeah, but
That's your thing, bro. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
so I can't wait
So,
for that. But yeah, no. So we got all that. Do you have any final thoughts there? Let's go.
final thoughts. Man, it's just good to be back. That trip to Dubai, I'm still like fucking recovering from that shit. Money wise, just sleep wise, and just the jet lag and everything is but I can't wait to share all the pictures and videos and see Eslam's professional pictures and videos and chat it up about it because it was a definitely an amazing event. It was very uh, actually, I gave a speech at the wedding, and one of the
Okay,
things I said was, each event kind of like topped the last one, and they got like bigger venues, and they just kept getting wilder and wilder. And the last one, they had this saxophonist, and it was through the roof because the way he came out was like a movie too. There's this huge stairwell, and all of a sudden they drop like the rhythm music, and next thing you know, he comes out like just start
that's
playing, and
awesome.
then
That's awesome.
slowly coming down the stairs while the professional photographers like watching him come down. Like they must
Yeah,
have had the sickest reels of this guy because I couldn't stop following him and just recording his ass and just be
yeah.
like, yeah, you're killing it, dude. Like.
So, I guess this should be my final thought. So I know we always do like the meeting, like, oh, what are we gonna talk about for the next couple episodes? We try to plan it and everything.
Yeah.
I definitely just, I don't know about you, Disco. I want the next episode just to be that. I want the Dubai trip. I want the Dubai wedding. I want the Dubai experience. I feel like that should be the entire episode, if
I was
anything.
thinking so too. I mean, I don't know what we have planned. I haven't checked in a minute.
Yeah,
But I think whenever Aslam comes back, we should totally just have a Dubai episode or
yeah,
Aslam wedding episode, just kind of because I got like a million pictures and videos. I'm sure he has the same, and I
yeah.
would like to hear his perspective because
Exactly.
we didn't really like talk too much because he was
I'm
doing
sure
like
he
the
was
wedding
busy.
stuff
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
he had like kind of help orchestrate the family and get everything ready. So I would like to hear his side because
yeah.
it
Can't
looked
wait.
phenomenal, but it looked so exhausting at the same time. I just want to hear his
Yeah.
take on it.
That's the thing. You guys have been back for a minute, and I'm purposely not asking anything because I'm saving it for the podcast. So it's like it's one of those things. It's like I want to know what happened. I want to know everything, and it's just like one of those things. Like I can't. I was like I want to give that initial real reaction on the podcast for you people,
Yeah,
all you
yeah.
people out there.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's this episode. I think we're good. We reviewed Glass Onion. We did a couple other shows. We gave some news, and we did an impromptu review of episode 3 of The Last of Us. So
Yeah, yeah.
think we
It
did
was
it.
a
We did
brief
all right.
impromptu review.
Yeah.
We could definitely go into more detail when Aslam's
Oh,
here, but
I'm sure we will
I
too.
it's hard to keep that off our tongues because it's
Oh
just
yeah,
so good. It's like it's a hot topic.
absolutely.
So,
Well, I think we're pretty much good for this episode. So As always, go ahead, check out our stuff. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff. Share it and tell your friends, tell your family, let people know. That's how we get bigger. That's how we grow. Tell people about the podcast. Earlier, before we started recording, Disco was telling us about how his family was checking out, and he had a younger nephew who shouldn't have been listening, but he did, and stuff happens. So we got that. Also, be sure to check us out on our social medias, which is down below. If you're checking out the YouTube version, you're going to see it in the description there. We're going to go on there. We're going to post stuff. I have to put up one of my demotivational posters. It's been a minute since I've done that, so I got to do that soon, maybe now. And as always, don't forget to check out our main site where you can find all of our content on lowswiseguys.com. That's where you're going to find the blogs, the videos, the podcast, the LWG, FVGL, S3. Say that next time you come on, Eslam. I don't think you can. And I can't wait. I can't wait for him to come back. I can't wait for us to talk about the Dubai, and it's going to be
The
great.
Dubai.
The Dubai. So,
Oh yeah. Oh man.
yeah.
There's so
So,
much. So much.
absolutely, I
I
can't wait.
I ended up wearing one of their like I don't even know what you call it.
Like the outfit.
One of their like outfits, like in their like I guess Muslim culture, and I
Mhm.
had like one of the head things too.
Okay.
And I I gotta tell you about it later. It's
I
just so
can't
crazy.
wait. I can't
It was
wait.
awesome.
So, we're all going to hear about this next time. So, as always, thank you and have a great week.